Hey guys, welcome back to this opportunity to learn more about social engineering and the social engineering attacks. So I'm going to walk you through this lesson 2 to help you understand how the attackers are manipulating those around them and unsuspecting victims to get what they want. So there are a few types of social engineering attacks, but there's some common things. Almost every type of cybersecurity attack contains some type of social engineering. So the social engineering is getting people to do things that they normally may not have done. You're using information that you have or some perspective or some want or need to get these people to move on taking an action. Social engineering can impact you digitally through mobile attacks or desktops. So wherever there is a potential email, and it can even happen in person. So here's an example of an email. With the social engineering, you get a clue that it's a scam or a trick by some small things. You don't know who the sender is. Words are spelled incorrectly. There's no name associated in the heading. And so when you see these types of things, you know that there's potentially someone at the other end who is trying to manipulate you. Here's some of the common methods used by social engineering attacks. There's baiting, scareware, pretexting, phishing, spear phishing, tailgating. Tailgating is more about when you walk in a door behind someone, a locked door, or they use their credentials to open the door and you walk in and you get them to think that you just don't necessarily need to go in your pocket and pull out your credential. And you look like you belong, so they just open the door and let you in, and you let you in behind them. That's tailgating. And then quid pro quo. All right, so what is baiting? A baiting attack, it uses natural curiosity to coax someone into exposing information to the attacker. The attacker usually involves trying to get you to take an action that downloads malware. And remember, malware is bad software. It does bad things to your computer. All right. One of the most common experiments that researchers like to do is they will take a USB and they will put that USB out into a parking lot just to see if people will pick that USB up, go into their computer and plug it in. And even though a lot of people have had courses that teach them do not put USBs that you don't know where they came from into your computer, people will still pick up that USB from the parking lot and stick it in to their computer. Okay. As you can see with baiting, attackers drop a virus-infected flash drive in a common area, lobby, a parking lot, sidewalk, and they expect that someone will pick it up and walk in and stick it into their company's computer. Scareware. Scareware is a form of malware used to frighten you into taking an action, right? Scare. They want to scare you into taking an action. Scareware pushes you to buy fraudulent cybersecurity software. I'm sure you've all seen where a little note will pop up on your computer that says that your computer may have been infected with malware. And they want you to click a link that will take you to a site where you can pay for the solution or the antivirus to fix your malware problem. They are trying to scare you into taking an action. Here's an example of an email that people receive all the time that says that their computer has been infected. And those individuals that don't know much about computers may believe that they need to take this action. They're scared into taking an action. Let's talk about pretexting attacks. Pretexting uses a deceptive identity as a pretext for establishing trust, such as directly impersonating a vendor or a facility employee. The approach requires the attacker to interact with you more proactively. The exploit follows once they convince you that they are legitimate. So, you have an individual who maybe pretends that they are an IT professional, or you have an individual that pretends to be someone that you would associate with on a normal basis, and they're aware of this. And because of that, you won't see them as a potential threat. Those are pretext attacks. So, in running a pretext scam, this is how things are done on the back end before the attack ever occurs. They recon, they go out and get information, and then they prepare, then they execute, and then they perform. So let's talk about phishing. Phishing is probably the most common of all the computer social engineering attacks. So phishing attacks pretend to be a trusted institution or individual that you might know, and they put out bait. That's why they call it phishing. Get it? F-I-S-H-I-N-G and P-H-I-S-H-I-N-G. And so there are two approaches to this phishing. There's the spam phishing, where they just send out a widespread attack to whoever, and they wait to see who clicks on, who responds, because different people will see and read the note that's being sent to them in different ways. So with a phishing attack, there are some associated attacks that fall under phishing, like vishing. That's when you get the phone calls, the robocalls that say, you are being investigated, please call this number and we can help you. Or there's the SMS, which is geared towards texting. And then, of course, we've talked about the email phishing. It's the more traditional means. In those emails, there might be a web link that you should not go to. There might be a phone number that they want you to call, or there's malware attached, and they're just waiting for you to open the attachment, which will then download the malware onto your computer. And then lastly, there's the angular phishing, and this takes place on social media, where an attacker imitates a trusted company customer service team. They intercept your communications with a brand, like let's say that you were going to the website of your favorite retailer, and they intercept your communications with a brand, a hijacker, divert your conversation into private messages where they advance the attack. Now, a part of this occurring is another type of attack where hackers have taken over, or they have run attacks against a website because the website was not secure. And that allows them to do these types of exploits. So, continue with phishing. Search engine phishing attempts to place links to fake websites on the top search results. And that's why when you're looking at those hyperlinks, you have to read the whole thing. Sometimes they're so long where you can't see at the end that it's not the website that you thought you were going to. You may think you're going to walmart.com, and maybe it says walmart.johnson.com. These may be paid ads, and they may use legitimate optimization methods to manipulate search ranks. Also, in session phishing appears to be an interruption of your normal web surfing. And you go to a website, you've put in the wrong web address by accident. And when going to those websites, you're not on the site that you thought you were on. And they then attempt to coax or manipulate you while you're there. So when we talk about phishing, on these phishing scams, we often think of it, and this is a way for you to remember it, a scam in which scammers use unsolicited emails or websites to lure unsuspected victims. So typically people with some cyber awareness are less likely to be scammed because they do suspect that there are people trying to scam them. So let's talk spear phishing. Spear phishing, and by extension Welding, uses personalized info to target particular users. Welding attacks specifically aim at high-value targets like celebrities, upper management, and high government officials. And the way that this is done is within a company, the accounting department receives an email from someone that they believe to be the CEO of the company or some high-level official. And because it's from someone in authority, they assume that it's from that person. In a lot of cases, it is not. They will take the action that's requested. So there have been accounting people who have received emails where the CEO says to forward $10,000 to a particular address. And those accounting people will do it because it's a direct request from the CEO or executive of that company. And so a lot of companies have put in place a two-step approach where if you receive an email like that, it has to be approved by someone else also. This helps to push back on this type of cyber exploit. Last, quid pro quo. So a lot of people are familiar with the term quid pro quo. It means that you do something for me, I do something for you. But in the context of these social engineering, it usually relates to giveaways or offers, or if you take part in a study, you will receive $50, or if you tell us your opinion about a subject, or if you give us a review of your last shopping experience, we will give you something. Okay, so that's how they engage you. And once they engage you, they either collect information from you or they use the engagement to download malware. So here's an example of quid pro quo. You'll receive a notice that says that virus has been detected on your computer, and they can help you relieve yourself of that virus if you do an update right now. And they want you to click that link.